Hi, Kate Delaney here of South Jersey Progressive Democrats. So a lot of the work that our organization does is democracy work, right? Is good government organizing. And we do this, of course, because we are passionate about this issue of making sure that our democracy is strong, that citizens are empowered, that people are informed, that people are voting and participating in our democracy. So we do it because we care about this issue. We also are deeply involved in democracy organizing, frankly, because we have to here in Camden County. There are lots of problems with the way that business is done in Camden County, and I've shared some of them already, right? So the folks that we are running against, so again, we are in column 1 as South Jersey Progressive Democrats, and column 2, right, the Camden County Dems are the Norcross-backed machine. So for over a decade, right, these are the folks that have mangled our democracy by running phantom candidates. And there's other things, right, that they've done that have undermined our democracy. And just yesterday, right, they once again showed their true colors and the way that they do business by sending out a mailer that I think is really important to unpack. So let's look at this together for a minute, shall we? So I would like to present the anatomy of a dishonest Norcross machine mailer. Again, this went out just yesterday to voters, and again, really underscores what we've seen from them time and time again, right? That rather than participate honestly and deal honestly with voters, deal honestly with progressives, right? Instead, they really focus on misinformation, right? Confusing people, discouraging people. So again, let's take a sec to look at what's going on here. Lots of problems with this mailer. So delving into our anatomy of a dishonest Norcross machine mailer. First things first, right? They lead this letter by saying, hurry up and vote right now, because if you don't vote right now in this election, the Trump Republicans are going to get you. So this is problematic because the election, we have 2 elections, right? In some nonpartisan towns, we have more than 2, right? But we have 2 main elections a year, right? In June, we have the primary election. A primary election is an intra-party contest, as opposed to the general election, right, where we have parties that are running against each other, right? So in the general election, right, is when these kind of messages, right, although I would argue that scare tactics are not great, that's when you might say, hurry up about the Republicans in the general November election. In the June election, again, it's an intra-party contest. So that means for the Democratic primary, everyone that's on the ballot is in fact a Democrat. The Norcross machine doesn't want you to know that, or they would like to confuse people into thinking that they are the Democrats and others are not, because they don't want to talk about the fact that they are the machine-backed candidates and that they're running against progressives, right? And that there are differences in our politics. There are certainly differences in terms of our values and, who we represent, right? That we are about, grassroots change and that we are about staying active with citizens on the issues. So they don't want to have those conversations, right, about the future of our party. They just want to kind of confuse and scare. They know that generally there's, a lower turnout for inter-party contests. So straight off the bat, right, they're misrepresenting what this election is. Again, it's a primary election. Primary elections serve an important purpose. They're there to have a conversation about the future of our party. So again, misleading people and making it seem like it's the general election to scare them, to confuse them right off the bat. We're getting back to those tactics that are so like the phantoms, where we're just confusing voters. They also note, some issues. They throw some issues in there. And in fact, it's interesting the issues that they've selected, right? So they mentioned the environment. In fact, South Jersey Progressive Democrats, the column 1 candidates, have been very active. An issue for me, as I've said many times, is moving away from the burning of our solid waste and moving away from the trash incinerator. Lots of us have been active on the issue of protecting South Jersey from LNG. So again, right, they talk about being good on the issues, but in fact, they've been the people that we've been trying to move on these issues. They talk about democracy, right? But again, they have had, this letter illustrates a lack of commitment to open and honest democracy. And they talk about, women's rights. And yet, ironically, this is the same organization that is actually running a candidate with a history of domestic abuse for city council in Camden, and has recently removed 4 women of color for seats of power. So they, name dropping some issues, but these are not issues that I would say that the Norcross machine really can speak with any authority on. They also tell us, of course, to mindlessly vote the line, right? So the ballot line is there so that we do not ask questions, right? Lots of us on the progressive side want to see an end to the ballot line, and we want to see, candidates grouped by like office, the office they're seeking, right? So we can really evaluate the candidates that are on the ballot, not just mindlessly vote the party line. But again, they're telling us to do that. They've listed some candidates' names, and interestingly, right? So this is a mailer going to Cherry Hill. They've spent a lot of money sending this out to Cherry Hill, one of our largest municipalities. One thing they haven't noted is that there's been a replacement to the mayor of Cherry Hill. So when we were out just this past weekend talking to voters in Cherry Hill, I was shocked and dismayed to find out that Cherry Hill residents did not know that behind closed doors, their mayor had been removed and that she was replaced with a white man who was waiting in the wings. So again, they don't note their own closed door decision making and the woman that they've removed from power. They just list some names, but they omit this important piece of information that voters would want to know, that you no longer have the same mayor. Again, they're telling people to hurry up and vote, right? So this is literally the message: hurry up and vote. Not choose wisely, not, research the candidates, research the issues, vote your values. It's literally hurry up and vote. They are doing some name dropping, right? So they're name dropping Murphy and Booker here. So these are not folks that are on the ballot, but they don't want to talk about the people that are on the ballot. They just want to go with names that they think people know. Interestingly, last year I was over next door in Woodland doing some outreach there, and I noticed that on the door hangers in advance of that election, they were calling themselves the Murphy Booker team. And they didn't even name their own candidates. So they do the name dropping just to confuse people, right? Maybe people are saying, I don't know, or is this a re-election year for those folks? They don't want people to ask questions. They don't want people to really look at the names that are on the ballot. They just want to name drop. Again, so we've got, dropping some various issues, dropping some names, telling people to hurry up and vote, confusing people about what the election is, right? Again, everyone on the ballot is a Democrat. This is an intra-party contest. And finally, of, definite interest to me and to the Cherry Hill candidates, they have given us a section of the ballot here, right? But what they haven't included is their party office races, right? So again, only in Camden County, we have these winner-take-all at-large races. So you have on the ballot, right, one vote is a vote for 72 people. You cannot mix and match, and none of those 72 represent you, right? We have no district representation. Why did they not include that? Is it perhaps because we have been very critical of the way these races are run? Because we are saying we want the same party office races that the rest of the state has, that a race that doesn't offer representation is not fair. So again, they've edited that out. They just have another list of names. So once again, right, this mailer is misleading voters. It's making them think the election is something other than what it is. It's telling people to make a quick vote without all of the information. It's naming issues on which they do not have a good track record. And again, right, that it's, not telling the truth about some really important things, such as the removal of a woman of power from office, such as, again, these county races, which are rigged and keep people out of the party. So again, right, that this is, kind of keeping in line with what we've seen all these years from the phantom candidate strategy, that, giving people information that isn't true is unfortunately what they rely on. But we deserve better elections. We deserve real information. As voters, we should be informed. So I hope that you will keep this in mind when you fill out your vote by mail ballot, or when you go to the polls on June 6th, column 1, South Jersey Progressive Democrats. We are here to represent the people. We stand for honest and fair elections. Thank you. And again, support us on June 6th, column 1, South Jersey Progressive Dems.